Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Ilhami bin Azmi. Today we are going to present our presentation about the affordable housing issue in Malaysia, causes, challenges and government policy. In the table of content, we will introduce with the introduction, the issue of affordable housing in Malaysia, causes contributing to housing unaffordability in Malaysia, impact of the affordability housing issues in Malaysia, government policies on affordable housing issue in Malaysia, challenges to affordable housing issue in Malaysia, and the last one is the conclusion. I will present the introduction first. For several years, Malaysia has struggled with the issue of affordable housing. Housing units that are reasonably priced and within the financial means of low and middle income households are referred to as affordable housing. The lack of affordable housing option has resulted in a variety of socio-economic issues such as inadequate living conditions, overcrowding and homelessness. This issue has piqued the interest of Malaysian government and policy makers who have been working to address the causes and challenges associated with affordable housing. The second one is the issue of affordable housing in Malaysia. The issue of affordable housing is a pressing concern in Malaysia, encompassing supply and demand dynamics, slow income growth, and rising construction costs. The country's rapid urbanization and population growth have fueled the demand for housing, particularly in urban areas. However, the supply of affordable housing has not kept up with demand, resulting in higher property prices and fewer options for those who are looking for affordable housing. This situation, combined with slow income growth and rising construction costs, has created a significant affordability gap, leaving many Malaysians struggling to find suitable and affordable housing. Causes contributing to housing unaffordability in Malaysia. The problem of unaffordability housing in Malaysia stems from a number of underlying causes, all of which contribute to high property prices and limited access to affordable housing options. These are some of the causes. The first one, imbalance in supply and demand. Third one, rising land and construction costs. The third one, income inequality and slow income growth. We will go to the first one, imbalance in supply and demand. Malaysia's rapid urbanization and population growth have increased housing demand, particularly in urban areas. However, the supply of affordable housing has lagged behind demand. Inadequate construction of affordable housing units has resulted in a shortage, resulting in a greater demand-supply imbalance. As a result, property prices rise, limiting the availability of affordable housing options. Rising land and construction costs. Malaysia's land and construction material costs have been steadily rising. Land scarcity, particularly in prime locations, leads to high land prices. Furthermore, the cost of construction materials such as cement, steel and wood has risen over time. These rising costs have a significant impact on the overall cost of housing construction. Developers incur higher costs when acquiring land and purchasing construction materials, which are frequently passed on to home buyers. As a result, property prices rise, making housing unaffordable for many Malaysians. The last one is income inequality and slow growth. Income disparities and slow income growth play a significant role in housing affordability. While Malaysia has experienced economic growth, many Malaysian income levels have not kept pace with rising property prices. Stagnant or slow income growth, especially among lower income groups within the affordability gap. Individuals and families are finding it increasingly difficult to find suitable and affordable housing due to an inability to match income growth with rising housing costs. That's all from me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Anafidaus Iskandar Zulkarnain, and today I will present about the impact of the affordable housing issue in Malaysia. The issue of unaffordable housing in Malaysia has significant impacts on the population, particularly young Malaysians and those without financial backing from family or well-paying job. Because of the high cost of housing, many Malaysians are in debt and must choose between paying for overpriced home or buying more affordable home in distant place and facing long commute to work. Monthly housing expense consume a sizable part of household income for people who own a home. The first impact is housing affordability crisis. Malaysia has been experiencing a serious housing affordability challenge, particularly in urban areas. Rapid urbanization and population expansion has boosted demand for housing, driving up costs and making it harder for low and middle income people to afford acceptable housing options. Many Malaysians are compelled to live in overcrowded or unsuitable conditions, lowering their quality of life. The second impact is socio-economic and equality. Malaysia's socio-economic inequality is exacerbated by a lack of affordable home. High housing expenses disproportionately affect low-income individuals and families, exacerbating the wealth disparity. It's become more difficult for lower-income population to obtain property or secure reasonable rental options. And inequality can cause social conflict, decrease social mobility, and limited prospect for underprivileged areas. Malaysians spend about 30% of their household income on affordable housing, but this percentage has gone up over past decade for most as the increase in home price has exceeded that of real income. The third impact is increased cost of living. The cost of living in Malaysia is generally lower than in the United Kingdom and the United States, with an average 43.47% and 51.74% lower respectively. However, the cost of living has been increasing and prices are estimated to increase by 50 to 60% due to the recent minimum wage increase in the country. High housing expense have a cascade effect on overall living expenditure. When a considerable amount of one income is spent on housing, it leaves less money for other necessities such as healthcare, education and transportation. As consumer purchasing power declines, this can put pressure on household finance and impact economic growth. The fourth impact, brain drain and talent retention. A shortage of affordable housing alternatives, particularly in urban areas, can exacerbate brain drain and talent retention issue. Young professionals and skilled employees may choose to relocate or work overseas in quest of better housing and a higher standard of living. This can influence economic productivity and the development of critical sectors. The last impact is economic implication. Housing affordability difficult can have a financial impact, limited access to affordable housing, mandated investment and stimulate economic progress. Furthermore, for building and real estate sector, which contribute to the country's GDP, may suffer if demand falling or owing for affordability concern. That's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Abdul Rashid and my matrix number is 2022-600 and 708. So my part is government policies on affordable housing issues in Malaysia. So the first part is initiative. There are 3 initiatives that I took, which is Rumah Mampu Milik Wilayah Persekutuan, the short form is Rumah WIP, and Projek Perumahan Rakyat PPR, and Perumahan Penjawat Awam Malaysia PPAM. So Rumah WIP is affordable homes of the Federal Territories. It is aimed to provide affordable housing option specifically targeted at individuals living in Federal Territories of Malaysia. So under this program, buyer can purchase properties at price lower than the existing market value. The government collaborates with developers to allocate a specific percentage of affordable units within the housing project, ensuring that a portion of the units caters to the needs of low and middle income individuals. So the second initiative, it is PPR or People Housing Project, is focused on addressing the housing needs of low-income households across Malaysia. This project involves the construction of subsidized housing units that are priced significantly below market rates. The government prioritizes the allocation of PPR units to families who meet certain income criteria and need comfortable housing. This program also provides various amenities and facilities to improve resident quality of life. So the third and last initiative that I took is PPAM, or Public Servant Housing Malaysia. It is a program dedicated to providing affordable housing option for government employees in Malaysia. The government has created this initiative to assist civil servants in obtaining suitable housing. Acknowledging the significance of attracting and retaining talented public servants, through PPAM, eligible government employees can access housing loan, grants and incentives to facilitate their own home ownership aspiration. So by these three initiatives, it shows that the government is dedicated to tackling the housing problem in Malaysia. They focus on offering affordable housing choices for different groups of people. By implementing programs like Rumawi, PPR and PPAM, the government aims to reduce the cost of owning a home and make decent housing more accessible to low-income and middle-income individual families and public servants. However, it is important for the government to regularly assess and monitor these policies to ensure their long-term sustainability and their impact on the housing situation in the country.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Shirasafi bin Muhammad Kamuruddin and my matrix number is 2022827456. So next is the challenges to affordable housing issues in Malaysia. So what are the challenges that involve in the housing issues in Malaysia? So for the first one is the supply-demand mismatch. The second one is the poor urban design and planning, and the third one is the financing. We'll proceed to the supply-demand mismatch. So what is in supply-demand mismatch? In supply-demand mismatch, it stated that the country faces several issues in supplying appropriate housing for its population, resulting in a mismatch between demand from prospective homeowners and the available supply of inexpensive and high-quality housing units. Among the factors involved are rapid urbanization and infrastructure and land use planning. So we will proceed. As you can see, the figure shows about the mismatch between supply and demand. As you can see in the figure, the bar of the chart are rising and down forward. It is because in that year, maybe the population is many and increasing. So from the high population, there will be no supply. When the population is low, then there will no demand. That is the meaning of mismatch between supply and demand. So the next one is the poor urban design and planning. The second challenges. So in this poor urban design and planning, we have overcrowding and lack of affordable housing. In overcrowding, we can relate that rapid urbanization and population increase have led to overcrowding in many Malaysian cities. It is likely tied to a lack of space, high demand, as I said in a previous slide about the figure between the mismatched supply and demand when the population is increases, and educated planning about the urban design. So based on the data that have been examined, housing units are often small and cramped with limited space for big families to live comfortably. So in connection with that, families are forced to live in a overcrowded condition due to high demand. Even they have the money, but they have no supply to take them to buy a private house unit because the demand is high. Even they have the money, so they have to force to live in a overcrowded condition. So the next one is the lack of affordable housing. So as I said just now, even they have the money, tightened by the lack of affordable housing, because Malaysia has a severe scarcity of affordable housing alternative, particularly in urban areas. Because of growing property costs and limited financial means, many low-income families struggle to locate affordable housing. It may result in a scarcity of cheap housing option, making it difficult for individuals and families to obtain safe. To obtain safe means that they have no privacy because they have to live in a overcrowded condition. So Malaysia's government has taken attempt to address the problem of lost policy such as boosting data exchange and increasing developer monitoring. More must be done, however, to guarantee that individuals and families have access to safe and affordable housing. So, the government has to centralize the lack of affordable housing. So, by centralizing it, the government to focus on consolidating affordable houses initiative at the federal level first by integrating development planning, financing and construction. So, about the financing, I will explain in the next slide. For the second point, with the integrated database, the central entity could identify affordability threshold by location, economic condition of household and shortfall of affordable homes in each location. So, once this is successful, state authorities would be encouraged to the partners of the entity. Last challenges with is financing. In financing, for affordable houses has remained availability, but the cost of the home remains prohibitively expensive for many Malaysians. Monthly houses expenses consume a sizable part of household income, making it difficult for many people to afford housing. This makes it harder for people with low and middle income to buy or rent affordable housing. So, with the high prices are caused by scarcity of land, speculation and inflated development expenses. Meanwhile, limited access to financing concluded many prospective home buyers experiences difficulties in acquiring affordable housing financings. Banks and financials sometimes require large down payments and strict eligibility standards. So, actually this makes harder for people with low and middle income to buy or rent affordability housing that is related to the financing. From 2007 to 2016, houses prices grew by 9.8%, while household income only increased by 8.3%, which that the price of the house is increasing higher than the income that people have. So it will not afford for the Malay citizens to buy the house units. So that is we call by the issues in financing. And the second one is the issue was most acute from 2012 to 2014 when the growth in house prices 26.5%, more than double the growth in income level 12.4%. It proven that the housing price increases a lot and double than the income of the Malay citizen. So it could not let the Malay citizen afford to buy their privacy housing unit. So I think that's all from my part. Thank you.
So, as in conclusion, affordable housing in Malaysia remains a significant challenge due to rapid urbanization, population growth and rising property price. Despite government effort, demand for affordable housing outnumbers supply, resulting in long wait lists and limited availability. Strict eligibility criteria would not help and would only exacerbate the problem by preventing certain groups from accessing suitable housing option. Resolving this crisis will necessitate a multifaceted approach that includes increasing the housing supply, revising eligibility criteria, and prioritizing sustainable urban planning. Malaysia must increase the supply of affordable housing units through targeted construction and development effort to address the affordable housing challenge. This will help meet rising demand and shorten waiting lists. Furthermore, by revising eligibility criteria to be more inclusive and equitable, a broader range of income group will be able to access affordable housing option. To address the affordable housing challenge, Malaysia must increase housing supply, improve coordination among government agencies, revise eligibility criteria, and prioritize sustainable urban planning. By taking this step, the government can work to make affordable housing available to all Malaysians, thereby improving living conditions and promoting social equality.